if I'm being honest, I really don't know if it's like this or like this. I think one of the ways breaks your thumb.
Hello, Adam Ryan Donato.
Hello, welcome to another hard review. I am Adam, here to talk about the roughest movie of the year so far. We have Creed 3. Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan, is going up against Damien, played by Jonathan Majors. I know what you're thinking, that's a familiar face, especially in the antagonist role, because I just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that also had Jonathan Majors. That's right, my guy's having a moment, you know? He's doing really great right now. I really enjoyed Devotion too. Anyone who dedicates themselves to Top Gun Maverick should watch Devotion. Jonathan Majors is really great in that, and it's exciting to see him in this movie, and that was actually the reason I'm most excited about this movie, was because I love a good villain. My biggest problem with the first two Creed movies is I feel like there was no compelling villain. You know, like Rocky's one of the greatest movies of all time. Obviously, there's no other Rocky movie that's better than Rocky. I had seen that previously. I had seen Creed back when it came out, but I'd never seen another Rocky movie or Creed movie until like a month ago. I watched Rocky 2 through 6, and then I rewatched Creed. I also rewatched Rocky. I watched Creed 2 for the first time, and now I've seen Creed 3. Do you want a vague ranking before I get into Creed? Rocky, for sure. Then I'm gonna go with Rocky 4, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 6, Creed 2, Rocky 5 at the bottom. And that's right, I'm not a big Creed fan. I think it's a 4 out of 5. I think almost every single Rocky sequel is a 4 out of 5, except the fifth one, which is a 3 out of 5. But it's just got that Force Awakens vibe for me that really isn't sitting well with me. You know, it's like, oh, remember Rocky? Remember how he fought Apollo Creed? Like, yes, I get it. I understand. Can you just make a good movie and not just sit here and keep trying to remind me about one of my favorite movies of all time? The first Creed movie, directed by Ryan Coogler. I love Ryan Coogler. That is early-ish Ryan Coogler, but I think it's very good. I love Stallone in it. There's a lot of really cute moments. Do I think he deserved an Oscar nomination? Probably not, but let's have some fun. Creed 2 I recently saw for the first time. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cooler because the villain was a little bit more of a big deal because, you know, obviously Ivan Drago killed Apollo Creed, and that's a big thing. But then again, I'm not really hating Victor Drago because, I mean, I want Adonis to win because he's the main character, and I don't want the mean Russian guy to win. Really, what I'm invested in is the fact of like, oh, well, I remember in, you know, Rocky 4 when this kind of situation happened and someone died, so this is personal. But there's nothing really personal directly between Victor and Adonis, really, so I'm really uninvested. Whereas Rocky 2 obviously got Apollo Creed again, Rocky 3 got Mr. T, was so intense, it was so funny. Rocky 4 obviously has Ivan Drago, which is great. I even enjoy the villain in Rocky 6, I don't remember his name. I like how he was like this young star, and it's like, oh, well, this old man's not gonna be me. I don't know, I thought that was kind of fun. It's interesting to see the way that these movies interact with the real life sports world. Here in this one, we're, you know, watching an HBO documentary on Showtime, and he talks to Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman in the world. Max Kellerman's in a lot of these movies, and it's really weird because he's such a joke, and every time he shows up, I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. My favorite is when Skip Bayless shows up. I think in like the sixth one, I had a hoot. So I was excited about this third Creed movie because I thought there was a really great villain that they were really featuring, so I was excited about it, and in that regard, it really delivered. Everything that I was excited about this movie for really delivered, and everything that I was weary about, I was right to be weary about. So no real surprises here. Let's go with the good stuff first. Jonathan Majors is awesome. The villain, it's a personal beef. I understand why these two guys hate each other. He looks so physically dominating. His performance is really great. I had a really great time with Jonathan Majors here. I said it, my Letterboxd review was this is the best Rocky villain in decades because it's the best since Rocky 4, probably, villain-wise. Michael B. Jordan flexed the anime fight style. I saw an interview, Jonathan Majors, where he's like, yeah, Michael B. Jordan was trying to show me some anime or something. He's like, I've just been training and eating chicken and whey protein for the last like 3 months, and he's making me watch anime. But it was really cool. There was moments where it's like slowed down, and you know, you really feel the impact of the punches, especially the final battle that they do. Oh, spoilers, guys, there's a final battle in the Creed 3 movie, but when they box at the end of the movie, there's some really awesome visual things going on, and I think it really impacts the emotional weight of the moment moment. So I was a big fan of how this movie was directed. So Michael B. Jordan, really great job. I did notice, and maybe it's just because I know that an actor directed the movie, but sometimes when I watch movies directed by actors, I'm like, you're an actor, aren't you? There's like some scenes where it's like, you're letting these actors breathe a little bit too much. The scene's going on a little bit too long. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson both do a really good job in this. Speaking of Michael B. Jordan, one of my favorite parts about this movie is it made me think about Kobe Bryant the entire time, because when I think about being a girl dad, I think about Kobe Bryant. That is the model right there. That is what you should try to be. The moment I have a child and they say that it's a girl, one day if that ever happens, if I'm lucky enough to have that happen to me, I'm gonna think about Kobe Bryant. But yeah, it was really sweet, especially since, she is deaf, I'm pretty sure, so she has to communicate through sign language and whatnot, so that was really cute. It's funny because I know that there's people out there who don't like foreign films because of subtitles. They're like, oh, why isn't it in English? But when they watch this, do they get mad too? They're like, oh, why can't you hear? Oh my god, there's definitely like a small like subsection of like ignorant jerks out there who are like, wow, Creed has gotten woke, because we got sign language to be inclusive. Both the leads are both black people. Like, oh, Rocky used to be about America beating up Russia, and now it's woke. But I'm sure there's haters like that for most movies. Those are really all the things I really liked about the movie. I brought up the pacing earlier. I thought the middle of this movie kind of drags. Like, when he finally challenges his opponent to a fight, I was like, this is happening a little bit late in the game, and I could tell because this lady in front of me didn't turn off her Apple Watch. So every time that she did this, I was able to see what time it was. There was a baby in the audience. If you bring a baby to a movie theater, you're a bad person. People interacting with the movie and laughing and really awkward points. Like, there was a moment where like the dad was talking to his daughter and it was like a serious moment. I think he was fighting with Tessa Thompson and the daughter shows up. People started laughing and I was like, that's not really funny. I mean, are you laughing because the communication is different from how you would normally communicate in that situation because she is deaf and he has to do sign language and you think that's awkward and funny? Sure. I was also not a fan of Rocky being missing from this movie. I miss him. I heard there's reports where he's upset that he wasn't involved in this, but on the other hand, let me make a pitch for why I'm happy Rocky's not in this movie, even though I do miss his presence. So going into this movie, I knew that Rocky wasn't going to be into it because I saw that little article about how he was upset about it. I had not seen Creed 2 yet, so I'm like, oh, he must not die. But knowing Rocky 4, I'm like, he probably should die in Creed 2. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, do I really want to see Rocky die? Is that really a thing that I need to happen? Like, I get it, Star Wars poetry, everything rhymes, and you want Rocky to die because that's what happens. Eventually the manager dies. Now our hero boxer is on his own. He's got to avenge the death of whatever. I don't care. But like, do I really want to see Rocky die? Like, when I was watching the first Creed again, I was like, do I really need to see Rocky get cancer? You know what I mean? Like, do I really need to feel this kind of pain right now? And it's kind of cheap, like this character that you loved from your childhood, yeah, he's got cancer now. I don't know, I just think it's really dark and unnecessary. Just stop making movies based on movies from people's childhood. Like, it's just low-hanging fruit. I don't know, I think I'm kind of done with these Creed movies. I think they're inoffensive to continue this franchise. It's fine, like, it's really Michael B. Jordan's this time because there is no Rocky here whatsoever, and we're not really talking about him very much at all. And I do kind of like that Captain America, like, he gets to go off into the sunset in Creed 2, and that's all nice and cute. But that being said, if I want to see a Rocky movie, I want Rocky to be there. And I know what you're saying, Adam, this isn't a Rocky movie, it's a Creed movie. It's a Rocky franchise. I think this movie works really well. I think people will really enjoy it. The fight scenes are really cool. I wish I got to see this in IMAX. I didn't. I definitely recommend checking this one out, especially if you are already a fan of the franchise. If you are only invested in the Rocky storyline, you don't care about anything about Adonis Creed, or if you're not really into the rise of Jonathan Majors, then I guess this isn't for you. But if either of those two things compel you, or you just like fighting movies, or just feel good, simple little, like, that's the thing. These are like the simplest movies. If I had to add this into my Rocky Creed rankings, probably somewhere in there with the first two. It's hard to say it's better or worse than Rocky 1 or 2 because it has some things that are better than the first two that I like more, but it also has some critical things that are missing that I really loved in the first two Creed movies. So, lateral move. If you're asking me personally, like, how do I feel? I guess I would take the first Creed movie over anything else. I don't know, Creed 2 has a little bit of a better villain and Rocky's in it, but I don't know. You're really splitting hairs here. 4 out of 5. Go check out Creed 3 in theaters. The rise of Jonathan Majors is chugging. What's your favorite Rocky movie? Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will never be in a fight ever.